Hello, and thank you for joining me for Ready Aim Stamp. Today we are going to make this card using the Painted Poppies stamp set. And we are going to use, the base is made out of 8.5 by 5 1/2 inch. I believe this is Blushing Bride. And it is scored at 4 1/4, my standard go-to. Then I have a piece of Coastal Cabana cut at 4 1/2 by 2.5. I have a piece of Calypso Coral, and it is cut at 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. And then I have 3 pieces of Whisper White that are cut at 1 1/2 by 2 inches. We are also going to be using the Greenery embossing folder. We're going to use this one. We're going to use Coastal Cabana ink pad Calypso Coral. We're going to use the Memento Black, and then we're going to use the blends. This is the light Old Olive and the dark Calypso Coral. All right, let's ready, aim, stamp. So the first thing I am going to do is I am going to run this piece of Calypso Coral through the machine, die cut machine, and I'm going to spritz it first with just a little bit of water, because that's just my thing that I do with embossing plates, and that got a little more water on it than I wanted, but it should be fine. So then I'm just going to take my little plate and I'm going to line up my paper to where I feel like it gets enough of the design on both the top and the bottom. And it's fairly straight in there, and I'm going to just run that through my machine. And now I'm back, and that has been run through. And I have this beautiful impression. Set that aside and let it dry off a little bit. Whoops. So with Stampin' Up especially, I don't know about other like stamp places, but they have a saying called case. And this has been, I've heard it as copy and steal everything, but you know, if your mama taught you, you don't steal things. And then it has been changed, I've heard it also as copy and share everything. And that's what we hear a lot, is copy and share everything, because that is part of the heart of Stampin' Up, is to share our creativity and inspire others to create. Well, I've recently heard copy and selectively edit, and I love that one. So that's what we did. This card design is, I kind of took inspiration from the catalog and used it for my sketch design, and that's how I came up with this card. And I'll show you at the end of the video a few other cards that I've made. This one is found on the catalog, the annual catalog, on page 70, showing the Flowering Blooms stamp set. But it can be, this like sketch design can be used for so many things. So there we go. We're gonna copy and selectively edit that design. Next, I am gonna grab a piece of scratch paper and my piece of Calypso Coral, or Coastal Cabana, sorry. And my Bermuda Bay, sorry, geesh, Bermuda Bay, not even Coastal Cabana. See, I could have been saving myself on these, getting them mixed up. And I'm just going to go kind of around the edges of this, because that's the only part that is going to be seen. And then I'm just going to kind of go in the middle. I didn't do that on the last one, but there we have it. All right. So that gives us our two kind of background pieces, the embossed and then the one that we made kind of as our own pattern paper. Next, I'm going to take the 3 smaller pieces, the 1.5 by 2 inch Whisper White pieces, and we're going to stamp some images on them using the Memento. And do this in the screen. And if you notice, I didn't get all of those images in there on the piece of paper, and that's okay. I just want to kind of highlight part of that image. And then I'm just going to kind of, this one also does not fit. Actually, none of the 3 images that I'm going to use today fit all the way on those little pieces. And on this one, I'm not even going to ink up all of it because I know I don't need to. Just whichever side of that flower image that I want. All right, we're done with the black. Turn off my stamps. If I don't do it now, I'll probably forget to do it later. And then I'm going to use this image here to fill in this poppy with the Calypso Coral. And it doesn't really fill the whole space. You just kind of have to decide how you want it to color fill in. And it's not going to be perfect, but that's kind of how it's supposed to be, I think. I'm hoping, because that's how I use it. And I guess even if that's not how it's meant to be, that's how I use it, so now it is. All right, so then the only one I'm going to use the old olive on is this stem on this long, tall one. And I'm just going to kind of be sloppy. You can color it precisely if you want. I'm not going to. These poppies remind me of the poppies that I have in my yard that my mother had planted. And they were some of her very favorite. And they were kind of this giant, and she called them peach poppies. So I love them. So I'm just going to sloppily add some ink, kind of to imitate that. Plus it makes it a lot faster, right? All right. So now we've got all of our stamping and all of our coloring. See how fast that was? And now we're going to assemble the card. So I'm going to take my card base of the Blushing Bride, and I'm going to burnish the fold. Then I'm going to use the multi-purpose glue and adhere this Calypso Coral piece that we have embossed. And I'm just going to kind of try to center it horizontally on this piece. That's the thing I like about that glue, is that it gives you a little, that wiggle room before it sets up. Then I'm going to also adhere the piece that, not Coastal Cabana, but Bermuda Bay, that we had stamped the splatter image on. And I'm going to just kind of center it on the card front as best as I can. And then for the 1.5 by 2 inch pieces, I am going to secure them with the Stampin' Dimensionals. And now there are a couple of ways you can put these on here. You can kind of eyeball it. Oops, here. And that's what I did, and that's what I'll probably do. But you could also use your grid paper, and you can kind of line them up. Maybe we'll try that. Line them up on the grid paper. And then, hold on, I have to go grab my tape. Now, I should have done this before I put my dimensionals on, but it'll still give us a more precise lineup. One of the great things about washi tape is that it is a low tack tape, so it's not gonna ruin our paper and tear it apart when we go to take it off of these. So I'm just going to, you can use any kind of low tack tape. I found that painter's tape, at least the stuff that I have, isn't quite, every once in a while it's I end up tearing my paper, and I don't like that. All right, whoops. So now I'm just going to remove the adhesive backs. Or try to. I don't have great fingernails. I need to get the take your pick tool. That's what I need. I'm gonna order it, guys. All right. Then you can just kind of line this all up as one shot instead of 3 times. Secure it down, and then gently pull away the washi tape. And I am sure that you can use that washi tape again if you would like to. And there we have this bright, cheerful card using our peach poppies, even though it's Calypso Coral. So there's that card, the one that I made. And here's one using Zany Zebras, but that same sketch design or card layout. And then here is one using the Forever Fern set, and I just kind of switched the orientation and made it open the tall ways by cutting this at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 and scoring at 5 1/2. So thank you again for watching Ready, Aim, Stamp.